All right, good evening out there to all of the beautiful people, members of the community. Conscious Approach live stream number fill in the blank because I don't know the exact number. I still need to do inventory on that. Be that as it may, JV wins, Dogon SS. We are here once again, right back in your grill for another edition of the channel. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. For anybody who is unaware of what we like to do here on this channel, and this is your first time checking us out, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, man. Hit that like button. We are almost to a point where we are going to have to update our little ticker going across the bottom of the video. For the longest time, it has been saying, help us get to 1K subscribers, but we are almost at 1K subscribers. We are within the final 100. So, to anybody who is checking out our content, you appreciate the commentary in this or any other video. Go ahead and hit that subscribe link. Leave a comment on this and any other video. Hit that like button. Let us know what you think. We don't try to cultivate a cult here. We just like to give our thoughts on some various topics that we believe are impactful and rather important going on in the culture. And we try to have a little fun and get a little thought provoking. So, with that out of the way, we are going to go ahead and get things kicked off tonight. First up, we are going to talk about comments made by Candace Owens recently. Candace Owens, obviously, it's an election cycle. Candace Owens being a social, political, cultural pundit who's well versed in all manners of, current politics, whether you agree with her or not. That is when she kind of pops up and it becomes the most loud. And recently, she gave some comments about rap music, more specifically gangster rap music. Interestingly, she believes, now this is speculation on her part, so it's not like she has empirical proof, but she nevertheless said that she firmly believes gangster rap was created by the feds to ruin Black American families and values. So these are quite interesting comments. And even Ice Cube himself chimed in with a brief but succinct, not necessarily a retort, but just to kind of piggyback off of what Candace Owens said. So just to provide a little context before we give our thoughts here, this says Candace Owens claims gangster rap was created by feds to destroy Black American values.
Oh my.
Yeah, I know, right? Candace Owens shared a conspiratorial take on hip hop and gangster rap on X on Friday, sparking passionate debate on social media. The conservative media pundit argued that the genre was created by the feds to destroy Black American values. Despite ample backlash online, she promised to never change her mind on the topic. Gangster rap was never Black culture, she began. It was created by the feds who preferred deals to homosexual Black men in prison and then turned them into artificial celebrities. The goal was to create false idols to destroy Black American values. I will never change my mind on this. The topic eventually found its way to hip hop legend Ice Cube, who wrote back on X, "We called it reality rap. The industry coined it gangster rap. The fans wanted gangster rap, and that's what they got. The feds didn't write none of my stuff. I'm a real MC." In the replies, fans shared their support for Cube. One user posted, "I'm disinclined to trust government or believe almost literally anything good about it. And I know how incompetent it is. Ain't no way in hell a government agent wrote literally any of your stuff I've ever heard. Far too intelligent." So Ice Cube was actually retorting to Candace Owens by saying that he disagrees with her. It's far from the first time Owens has made headlines for her opinion on hip hop. Earlier this year, she argued that Ice Spice's song "Think You the Shit Fart" was setting society back a step. She also sat down with Kanye West for a full interview. Check out her latest viral post on social media below. So here's what she put out. So there's the tweet. Gangster rap was never Black culture. It was created by the feds who preferred deals to homosexual Black men in prison and then turned them into artificial celebrities. The goal was to create false idols to destroy Black American values. I will never change my mind on this. And then Ice Cube responded via responding to someone else who added him by saying, "We called it reality rap. The industry coined it gangster rap. The fans wanted gangster rap, and that's what they got. The feds didn't write none of my stuff. I'm a real MC." So Ice Cube doesn't agree with Miss Owens, but what do you think of what Candace had to say? Do you think that she has a point? Do you think that she could be right that it was a machination of the feds of the government to destroy Black American values?
Boy, that's a tough one. I don't want to say feds. I would say, however, there there was a concerted effort by some group of people. I don't know what group of people. Um, I mean, I have ideas, but I never really pointed my finger to the feds or the government for that. Um, I can see her angle, because I do believe that hip hip hop was turned into rap by corporations. I've always said that, and if you go back in our videos, whenever we're talking about hip hop versus rap and what happened to the genre, I always pointed my finger at corporate interests. Um, but for her to say feds, it's pretty interesting. And also the part where she's saying that homosexuals in prison, and that, that's, I mean, she's just going all in, man. But
Yeah.
that's Candace for you, man. She's a sound bite machine. I'm not taking the bait though. I'm not taking the bait on this. I'm not taking the bait on this. So I would just stay on the fence and say corporate interests, because for those I do have, I mean, and there is evidence of that. You can go around and start pointing fingers at certain groups, certain corporate interests, certain individuals that had their hands directly in it when the genre went upside down. So I would say that. I do agree with her as well when she mentions about, the homoerotic nature that started to creep its way into the genre. And, it's very subtle stuff, but, it's things that our community has always talked about, one of which is pants sagging. And the culture of pants sagging also came about with the genre of rap. And I used to poo poo it myself when I was a heavy pants sagger. I was just part. It was, to me, it was part of the culture, man. And the ladies were going for the guys that looked a particular way, so I felt like I had to fit the mold in order to garner attention from the women that I wanted back then. Yeah, back then. And so, but the pants sagging thing is very, it's a very interesting dynamic. And I spoke about it before, but that was a while ago, so I'll reiterate here. And to me, I don't always look at things on the surface, on things on the 3D level. I look at things in more of a 5D kind of thing, and I look at stuff at like that as more of the spirit of it. So when I said I used to poo poo it, like, oh yeah, pants sagging came from prison culture. And basically, your rear end popping out of your pants is basically showing the streets and letting everybody know that your ass is available. And I was like, this ass is not available. So when I sag my pants, what are you talking about? Well, it's pretty much like I said, it's the spirit of it. And to me, I believe it's the spirit of homosexuality and the spirit of emasculation. And so when it was being popularized so heavily, that young men were picking up on that and not knowing that they were picking up on something that was not making them a man, which goes in line with also other things of promotion of immature behavior and bad things with finances and all types of stuff. So it was just immorality all over the place, in my opinion. So I do agree with her with that. There was also a big push for, you can look back on magazine covers back in the days where, shirtless, oiled up men were always featured there, and other things. Now, again, this is very subtle stuff, but the subconscious mind picks up on subtle things. And so one can argue that, hey man, you're reaching a little too far. Am I? And it was like that at the beginning, and then we saw Young Thug actually wear a skirt, you know. And so it's a progression of this thing. So once they introduce a certain type of spirit inside the culture, like drug selling, for instance, it devolved into drug using. You start sagging your pants, then it devolves into, well, actual guys that are on the spectrum when it comes to sexual behavior being part of the rap game. And also the part where guys were just talking about rap, busting guns and killing people and all that other stuff. And now there's actually RICO cases where guys are getting caught up because they're actually selling it. So the introduction of these concepts grew wings, and it actually became reality for our community when it was just, quote unquote, an art form. So I do agree with her in the sense that I believe it was a concerted effort to introduce certain ideals into the community, and it actually took on its effect. So I do agree with that. But to say it was the feds per se, to just point my finger there, I can't really go there. One could, dance around the subject and look around, but again, to just hard point at it, I think that's a little aggressive. But what are your thoughts, sir, on Miss Candace Owens saying that the feds introduced gangster rap in our community to pretty much turn us into a bunch of degenerates? What are your thoughts?
Well, that is on brand for Candace Owens. She is quite aggressive.
Hmm.
Um, so I hear all of that. Yeah, I think I largely agree with you. I don't saying that it was the government specifically is highly speculative. I
Hmm.
like to be able to trace a little bit of tea leaves and connect some dots before I go that far. But I do think that there was the placing of certain aspects of the music intentionally in order to yield a certain kind of like societal result. I do think that that took place.
Hmm.
And the one thing that I like to harp on when it comes to the music is the lack of a balanced representation of the content of the music.
Hmm.
I think that's the main thing that you can look towards. I think at any given moment, if you listen to radio, whether it's terrestrial radio or whether it's like, satellite radio or whatever you stream, if you look on your streaming device and you look at the top most streamed songs and all that kind of stuff, there's going to be two or three themes that are most common throughout the most streamed songs. And I think that that's a lack of balance because those themes are pretty much going to be the same thing every time.
Hmm.
It's going to be kind of loose, carefree, I don't care behavior. It's going to be exploitation of women. It's going to be exploitation of substances, and it's going to be exploitation of legality. Those are going to be like the main themes inherent in any top five playlist, any top five list of songs that get played within the genre. And my point with that was, I don't necessarily know that the music listening community at large is pandering to hear that all the time.
Hmm.
Yet for whatever reason, that's all you hear getting played over the airwaves. So if the community isn't necessarily saying this is all the music we want to hear, but that's all the music that's being played, the question therein becomes, why is that? That this is all the music that's being played. And I remember one day I was listening to DJ Who Kid on Shade 45 on Sirius XM. He has his Hollywood Shuffle show every
Hmm.
Saturday morning for like 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours. I'm not exactly sure how long it is. And at one point, he broke into his set where he was playing the music. And he was saying, to the audience out there, for anybody who is unaware, y'all think that I control the music that gets played on this show. I really don't. I don't really control what gets played. This is my show, but I don't dictate the music that gets played. It's the labels that dictate the songs that get played. And the songs that get the most music put behind them are the songs that the higher ups tell me I'm supposed to play during the show.
Mhm.
These are his words, not this isn't, he said this on his own show. He was saying, hey man, XYZ label pays this much money for Ice Spice. I gotta play Ice Spice. XYZ entity or this person or this group, they're putting a lot of money behind Lil Baby. I'm gonna play Lil Baby on the show. All of these artists, like, hey, listen, this is why, by and large, these songs get played on this show. Not because I'm a DJ and I'm doing a set and I'm choosing to play this music. There's a lot of money and label politics behind the songs that get played. Now, I'm gonna take him at his word. He didn't have to admit this. He willfully offered up this information. So if I'm to believe that these are the songs that are if I am to believe that these are the songs that have to get played by his own admission,
Mhm.
the question then becomes, why is it that these are the types of songs that are getting the most money put behind them to be played in the first place? I think that that's a valid question worth asking. And look, we've gone on plenty of topics on this channel where I go in on some of these trash artists and this trash music.
Mhm.
So I'm not here. I'm not using this particular video to talk about how much I think most modern rap is trash. That goes without saying. Check out some of our other videos where I lean into my thoughts on that. I do think most of it is trash, and I
Mhm.
think the industry is trash. But I don't think the industry is trash because the people have been conditioned to want this music per se. I think it's become trash because there is a lack of a balanced representation from a popularized standpoint with the representation of the music. And I think that is an intended tactic on the part of the music industry. You use corporations and corporate interests. When I say music industry, that's what I'm referring to. For
Mhm.
me, when it comes to music, corporations and the music industry are synonymous. It's the same thing. I mean, within the pantheon of corporate America, you know, record labels, just like movie studios, are rather high up on the food chain in terms of the level of influence that they have on popular culture. And if they're the ones dictating the songs that get played and not the people, I don't think it's beyond the pale for a person to ask, why is it that these are the songs that have the most money put behind them? I think that if you can pierce the veil of the answer to that question, it can give you some clarity on why an individual like Candace Owens would make such comments.
Mhm.
Again, much like you, I'm not speculating that it was the government, but it is someone or something or some people or some entities who are behind the intentional flooding of a particular kind of content to the various ways that most people listen to music. And unless you have a free enough mind to be able to take in a balanced perspective of different kinds of art, you'd be led astray into believing that this is what you're supposed to be hearing. And I don't think that that was a machination created by the community or the people. I think that that was something that someone did at some point along the way when they said, let's put the most money behind this kind of artist or this kind of content or this kind of music. That I do think is on purpose.
Mhm.
And when you further complicate that by my assertion, I personally believe that there was a psyop that took place at some point during the 90s where these same corporate interests made a very concerted effort to make, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, hip hop slash rap culture synonymous with Black American cultural values. Therein lies, that's kind of where the rubber meets the road. Because if this music is supposed to be synonymous with our cultural values, but the music is being there's a certain kind of form of the music that is being most paid for via the machine of the music industry. I don't think it necessarily pains to ask the question, why is it that this particular kind of content is what it is that's had the most money put behind it? So government, I don't know, but shadowy figures behind corporations in the music industry, I would say yes on that.
Yeah, man. Well said. And now there and it's been well documented. That there were government programs that were out in the '60s and '70s that were used to undermine revolutionary thought, I would say, in the Black community. One that's well known as COINTELPRO, And in COINTELPRO, one of their you know one of the statements in there was to the prevent the rise of a black messiah. And whoever or whomever that would actually be the person to galvanize the people and to go in the right direction. And so programs like Black Panthers and others that were trying to rise up and get black people on the right page were undermined by the government. But again, this is well documented. Hell, they made movies on it and stuff. Go do yourself a favor and go watch some of that stuff. I think recently they even had a Netflix type of thing out there about that. So it's stuff out there like that.
Yeah,
But
the most recent one that I can think of is that movie Judas and the Black Messiah.
correct,
That's the most recent example of. I think that was about. Is it that movie was about Fred Hampton, right? I think that's who
correct.
that was about. Yeah,
hmm
yeah.
And so there's stuff out there that's well documented. So, um, but my whole thing is that if part of one of these programs was part of the music industry, that's fine. But I don't think it's just them. Is my point. I think it was more of a there's other interests, and I would say the corporate ones that were also involved in this. So I'm not going to just point my finger at one entity or one thing and say that it's the whole thing, or I can't say none of that. So but I get where she's coming from, because there are well documented things. And even on here a while ago, I've also spoke on MK Ultra. And MK Ultra is also a well-known government program that is used to undermine the U.S. population, not just black people. Okay, so and if you watch any brain rot that's on Netflix, you would understand exactly what MK Ultra is. That's what video games are. Whenever people are addicted to these things and they can't seem to let it go, that's MK Ultra for you. And these things are used to keep uh, brain waves and brain cells in a certain vibration where people aren't really doing much, very docile, kind of like fluoride in your water. So, but it's just fluoride coming through your TV screen and laptops and tablets and stuff, if you know what I'm saying. So, one can point to various programs that people are very well aware of. And if you guys want to lump that stuff into Candace Owens's statement, that's fine. But be that as it may, I would still say that uniformly pointing it at one group of people or one entity. I don't really say that. I really think it's a concert of people. And one thing that our community needs to do, and anybody that is enjoying our community from the outside looking in, really needs to take in consideration, as I've always mentioned on here, is that these quote unquote forms of entertainment are not simply entertainment. In my opinion, these are forms of social engineering, and it has gotten the people to think and move in a particular way. Crime rates to go up in particular areas, and I do agree with that. Now, one would ask, now, what would be the reason of this? Why would corporate interests want people to be just degenerates? But as I've mentioned on here before, that Ice Cube himself had even said it, that a lot of these major record label big wigs up top also have investment ties in privately owned prisons. So and there's a lot of money laundering going on out there. And so these uh, various forms of narcotics that find their way in our communities. We don't own no boats or no planes. I think a lot of us know that as well. So how is it getting here? How is it crossing borders? Like, how is all of this stuff working? So one would have to ask, what is really going on here? And there are lab rats, in the projects, and they're being constantly experimented on. So again, who's to blame for this? I don't know. Okay. But again, all of this stuff is well documented. All right. I'm not out here, making this stuff up. And if anybody does any type of research and dig over, lift up a few stones, you'll see all those worms and maggots crawling up underneath there. So, in one breath, I can see where she's coming from, but I just think it's a bit deeper. And I think there's a lot more going on with this topic. So, yeah, our community, they need to stop buying this stuff and understand that there's in my opinion, an intentional effort to keep your brain waves at a certain length. So, yeah, man, expand your vocabulary, expand your mind, and get your Andre 3000 on, and start listening to some flute winds. Start listening to some organs. Some what's my favorite one? The damn, I can't. Oh, the cello. I love the cello and the organ. So, listen to some classical music and expand your horizons and expand your brain waves. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Again, Fez, I'm not sure, but I do think that one of the ugly byproducts of capitalism is the need, or rather the ability, to try and control the population through various forms of social engineering and behavioral control, uh, to control people, behavior, um, you know, kind of, sort of. But the real reason why behavioral control is a thing is for the purposes of making money, I think. It just so happens that in the process of being able to control people's behaviors for the purposes of making money, you are also able to subdue that population from being able to see the forest from the trees, to use an age old expression.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think that music is no different than, and when I say music, I mean music's propensity for being able to control behavior.
Hmm.
It's a form of population control, as far as I can tell. That's no different than, like, you know, mass produced foods, chain grocery stores, being able to save a couple of dollars on a bag of Doritos by buying them from Walmart. But what are the ingredients in Doritos? What are the health ramifications of a bag of Doritos long term? Stuff like this. Mass produced, non farm raised, meats, GMO products, things of
Yeah.
that nature, right? I think that those are also forms of control, just of a different variety. But music, foods, movies, these are all forms of control, in my opinion. And I'm not necessarily saying that one needs to go cold turkey and just abstain from all of it, but there needs to be a healthy balance of whatever it is that you indulge in, lest you are a willful participant in the controlled environment of capitalism, as far as I can tell. And again, if you don't take my word for it, and I hear you on COINTELPRO, because I always think about that, as well as MK Ultra and some of these various other things. I hear all of that, but even if you don't want to go as far, even if you don't want to go down that far of a rabbit hole when talking about mind control and all of this kind of stuff, just ask the question: when you're listening to the radio, when you're on Spotify and you see something come up on your feed, or when you're scrolling through Instagram or TikTok, and every song that you encounter is Ice Spice, Sexy Red, Glorilla, Lil Baby, um, NBA Young Boy, NLE Chopper, what else, right? So just ask yourself, if everywhere you consume information, and you're dealing with music, and every song that you encounter is that, just ask why. Is it the people, or is there a particular reason why that's what's popping up in front of your face all the time? And according to people who are involved in the music industry, I heard it from Who Kid himself on his own show. He doesn't even dictate the music that he plays on his own platform. For the most part, it is the music that is being paid for the most. And with that knowledge in mind, it doesn't hurt to ask the question: why is it that that's the music that is being paid for the most?
Yeah, man. And last thing I'll say, man, is that, Candace Owens, yeah, she has a point that I do believe that there is, something going on. and people would have to, look into it and stop just digesting this as entertainment. Oh, come on, guys, relax, man. Don't tell me you never danced to this stuff. Don't tell me you don't have some of this stuff in your playlist. And I go, hey, man, I get that. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, not everybody is listening to this stuff and dissecting it while they're listening to it. Some people listen to this stuff, and my stuff included, man. It gives you invasive thoughts. So it's best to just not listen to that stuff at all. And if these guys are heavily promoted, as you mentioned, if they're heavily promoted on the radio, if they're everywhere you go, everywhere you see, it's probably for good reason. So I would just tell people to open their horizons, man, and look at other things out there and try to consume some other content out there that's not geared towards prison, drug selling, murder. So do yourselves a favor, man, and broaden your horizons.
Yeah, yeah. Don't 50 Cent shows. Go a different route. Go a different route. What's the phrase? The 50 Cent's Power series authentically represents Black and Latino populations.
I mean, as far as
That's
I'm concerned, I live my life like a 50 Cent show, as far as everybody
yeah,
else is
right.
concerned.
It's crazy. Yeah, I don't think it hurts to ask the question why. Just ask, and if that bothers you because if the notion of that offends you because you love and appreciate the music, then they got you. That's
Yeah.
all I would say. They got
And
you.
guys, let us know down in the comment section, man. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think Candace Owens has a point, or do you believe there's other factors involved, or hell, you think that all of this stuff is tinfoil hat behavior, and just shake your booty in the club when your pants are sagging near your knees. Let us know down in the comment section, please.
Shouts out to Candace Owens.
Yeah. Hey, hit the like and subscribe too while y'all at it.